Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to Crime Zone. Even if you've never bought or sold anything online before, or happen to live in one of the increasingly few places where it isn't available, chances are you've heard of Craigslist. The online classified ad site / internet bulletin board was first created in 1995, but began rapidly expanding to new cities in the early 2000s, to the point where it became a household name in many places across the world. However, like anything new that becomes popular that quickly, it didn't take long for Craigslist to gain its share of notoriety, as reports began to emerge about the darker side of some of the posts on the website. While many of these were simply people using the site for run-of-the-mill illegal activity such as advertising sex work or dealing drugs, a few others realized that they could use Craigslist to commit crimes that were truly sinister. Today, we wanted to take a look at a few of these cases, focusing on stories of disturbing crimes that were committed using Craigslist. Before we get to our list, we wanted to take a second to remind everyone about Crime Zone's Patreon. In addition to ad-free versions of all of our content and weekly bonus videos for our Crimes of the Week and Crimes of the Week International videos, patrons will get exclusive monthly videos covering viewer-suggested cases. If you want even more Crime Zone content and are interested in helping to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/crimezone to sign up. We'd love to have you on board. With that out of the way, here are 3 chilling crimes that were committed using Craigslist. Though there's not as much information available about this case as the others on today's list, we decided that it was too interesting not to include. We hope you agree as well. Our story begins sometime between 2004 and 2005, when a man from Oroville, California, met a woman in her late 40s named Anne Marie Linscott from Rockford, Michigan. Though the two lived across the country from one another, they met by chance while taking online college courses. Their conversation started out innocent enough, but it wasn't long before they took a turn, leading to a long and intimate relationship over the internet. However, in addition to the distance between the couple, there was another major barrier standing in the way of their budding romance. They both had lives and relationships in their respective cities. Linscott was a former Coast Guard recruit who now worked as a massage therapist and was the married mother of 2 teenagers. She and her husband John had been together for 2 decades. Her lover from Oroville was also married to a woman identified only as Carol. It will soon become clear why neither the man nor his wife wanted their names publicly released in subsequent reporting. Despite their settled lives, Linscott and the Oroville man decided to take their online affair to the next level. In July of 2005, Linscott flew out to Reno, Nevada, to meet the man at a conference in the city that he would be attending. After spending 2 days together, they both returned home, but soon made plans to see each other once again. The following year, Linscott hopped on another flight, this time traveling all the way to California and staying with her lover near his home, presumably while his wife was out of town. From there, the intimate relationship continued, with Linscott and her lover exchanging regular phone calls and emails. However, by early 2007, it was clear that Linscott wanted to go all in on the relationship. She repeatedly told the Oroville man that she was making plans to move to Northern California so that she could be closer to him. Though it's not clear what Linscott's lover thought of these plans, over the next few months, what would become clear is that Linscott was ready to push the relationship forward by any means necessary. The first disturbing sign was in April of 2007, when a Molotov cocktail with a fuse was found in the bedroom of the Oroville man's wife. Thankfully, the device did not go off and no one was hurt. Because Linscott was never charged with planting the device, we can't say for certain that she was behind it. However, it does look incredibly suspicious considering what happened next. In November, 2 curious postings appeared on Craigslist advertising a job to California residents. The job was titled Freelance, with no other follow-up information provided. Thinking that the job was for a home-based business or involved some sort of writing, 3 people reached out to the provided email address, borntorun@hotmail.com. However, the curious job seekers quickly discovered that this was far from what the mysterious poster had in mind. The jobs had been posted by Anne-Marie Linscott, who was now looking to hire someone to kill her lover's wife. She told each of the 3 respondents that she was looking for, quote, silent assassins to eradicate a 56-year-old woman from Oroville named Carol. Linscott made sure to emphasize to her prospects that this was, in fact, a serious proposition, and that the job would pay $5,000. In at least one instance, she went as far as to say that the would-be killer's expenses would be paid and added to the total. She said that her only fear was that the murder might be traced back to her. Unfortunately for Linscott, she soon found out the hard way that Craigslist was not the place to brazenly shop for a hitman. All 3 of the people she corresponded with did the reasonable thing and reported her to police, providing them with an electronic record which easily led them to their suspect. The FBI soon got involved and showed up at Linscott's home in Rockford to question her. While confronting her with copies of her emails, investigators asked Linscott what she meant by the word eradicate when talking about the Oroville woman. Linscott reportedly replied, "Duh. Well, to have her killed." When news of the terrifying story broke, Craigslist was already in the midst of fallout from another crime that had taken place using the site that had happened at the end of October. As a side note, that case will be covered in part 2 of today's list. However, unlike in that situation, following Linscott's murder-for-hire plot, Craigslist CEO Jim Buckmaster managed to more adequately address the public scrutiny. He told the Associated Press, quote, "Out of 550 million classified ads posted over 12 years, this is the first such incident we're aware of." He also noted that considering the trail of electronic evidence left behind in the case, Craigslist was, quote, "an inhospitable place for felonious activity and an unwise choice for would-be criminals." In January of 2008, Anne-Marie Linscott was charged with 3 federal counts relating to using the internet with the intent to solicit a murder. Though she was initially set to be extradited to California, she agreed to plead guilty to all 3 charges and was allowed to stay in Michigan to be close to her family. At her sentencing in February of 2009, Linscott's lawyer claimed that she had borderline personality disorder and that she required treatment for mental illness. Linscott also presented her volunteer efforts and work with the Coast Guard in a bid for lighter sentencing. The judge in the case, Janet Neff, apparently did not buy this, saying, quote, "I continue to believe even here today she does not accept responsibility." Linscott was sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in prison. Around the time of Linscott's sentencing, reports also emerged that this was not the only time she had exhibited troubling behavior. In 1997, a co-worker filed for a personal protection order against her after she fixated on him and began to stalk him. After she was arrested in 2008, she also reportedly became obsessed with a deputy at the county jail where she was locked up. After she was transferred away from that facility, she wrote the man a love letter, saying in part, quote, "I wish you'd send me a card with a little note letting me know you're thinking of me and missing me. I need something to hang on to. I think of you often, every day." Finally, it was reported that the intended victim of Linscott's crime, Carol, left her family and career for several months after she was informed about the plot on her life. She was also briefly hospitalized for stress. The only other information we could find about her said that she and her husband were working to preserve their marriage at the time of Linscott's sentencing. But as they chose to remain anonymous, all we can do is hope that Carol eventually found happiness and that she is doing well. Do you know of any other cases like this that you think we should check out? Tell us about them in the comments section below. As always, if you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Crime Zone for more true crime content like this, making sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest releases. Thank you for watching.